Hello everybody, welcome back to the LMC channel. I am your host Liam, and remakes can be a hard thing to pull off. You have to please the original audience who watched your show back when it first came out, while also bringing in new viewers and hoping they're going to enjoy the product. Another thing that isn't really a crowd pleaser with all audiences is anime. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Japanese cartoons, but from time to time I'll enjoy them. And for the past couple of years, anime has had this resurgence in popularity, skyrocketing in pop culture. Every mall I go to, I see drip of anime characters. In every clothing store, costumes in Fortnite, and places you wouldn't even think about. You would assume that all this popularity would come back to a guy like me, who grew up with a lot of Japanese stuff in my life. And yes, that is true. But I wanted to find something obscure, a show that barely anybody knew about at my age. Well, in 2020, I found this. So you're probably wondering, why is this chick in her bikini? How can she fly? What does this have to do with me? Well, I'll tell you what it has to do with you. This is Urusei Yatsura, also known as Those Obnoxious Aliens. A 1980s anime, originally a manga created by Rumiko Takahashi. She is mostly known here in the States for a show known as Inuyasha, which aired on Adult Swim's Toonami block back in the day. However, her very first hit was Urusei Yatsura. You've probably seen the show before on a weird British dub.
What do you say, Yatsura? Will you save the planet and all mankind?
The premise of the series is very interesting. It's about a guy named Ataru Moriboshi who is known as the most unluckiest, lecherous person in the world. One day, he meets an alien babe named Lum who, along with an army of her people, wants to take over the Earth. So, they challenge Ataru to a game of tag, and he has to grab Lum by the horns within 10 days to save the world. And thus, he agrees, and wins in the process. However, he claims that after grabbing her horns, that he's going to get married to his girlfriend Shinobu. But this becomes a misunderstanding, and Lum now believes that she's married to Ataru. And that's basically the first episode. When you watch this show, at first it feels like a crappy love comedy, which is the stuff I hate. However, in my opinion, the TV show is not only a comedy, it's a show that borderlines parodies of other animes. It's probably one of the first shows to do this kind of stuff. And you can thank that all back to the well-talented people working on this show, taking the characters and the stories from the manga chapters and then proceeding to do whatever they want. This caused the series to become massively popular, becoming better than the original source material. And after its cancellation in 1986, the show ended with 9 seasons, 4 movies, and almost 200 episodes, which is pretty impressive for a show like this. After the end of the show, the characters would sometimes appear in direct-to-video tapes, and 2 additional movies were made, but that was about it, seeming as if the series would end up being obscure and forgotten, and probably would never be seen again. Then, on January 1st, 2022, something came up. It was clear that Urusei Yatsura was coming back, with 4 new seasons airing on its original channel. But this scared me. It has been so long since the last time the show came out. It would be like if Heathcliff got a reboot out of nowhere. Sure, the people who watch the show would remember who he is, but this generation won't. Yes, I compared Urusei Yatsura to Heathcliff. Was the remake going to be good? Or would they ruin it by trying to appeal it more to the modern audiences? Well, we had to wait 9 months to find out. A few months go by, the first trailer comes out, a few character files, and a release date of October 13th. Here we are. The first season just finished a few weeks ago. So, what did I think of the new Those Obnoxious Aliens? Well, in my opinion, they remade Urusei Yatsura just for a shoe commercial. Urusei Yatsura 2022, or Urusei Yatsura All-Stars, or Those Obnoxious Aliens, or whatever you want to call it, takes the original stories from the original show and recreates them more in line with the original manga. Now, you would think this would cause the new team to be not as creative as the original. And while yes, that is true, I believe that the new team did a pretty good job, all things considered, despite having less freedom compared to the original team. In fact, with this new team, you can tell that they were big fans of Urusei Yatsura, referencing a lot of small cameos from the franchise's 40-year history. One place where you can see their love for the show's past is in the opening theme. Now, Urusei Yatsura openings are bangers of great songs. And yes, Ataru goes on Tinder, Lum is on TikTok, and they made a Doki Doki Literature Club reference. Oh no. However, the opening balances this stuff out by having posters for the original series, along with the Nintendo Entertainment System game, which is terrible. At first, I didn't really care for this opening J-pop song, that I can't really play for you due to copyright reasons. But look it up on YouTube when you can. I myself would much rather prefer the Lum No Love Song, the original theme song for the series, to have played instead. However, AU, the song, really grew on me, and I found myself really enjoying it. The same goes for the ending theme, Tokyo Shady Rendezvous. I don't really care for this imagery, but I enjoyed hearing the song, even if I don't know what the words are. I mean, they could be talking about depression for all I know. But what about the actual show itself? First, I want to clarify that I'm only going to be reviewing the first 11 episodes, so any new episodes I will not be covering. I also watched these episodes with the original counterparts to see the differences between the two, and most of the time, the original won out. But that's not to say the new show is bad. It's just that the old show had a lot more creative freedom and was able to stand apart from the manga. But the new show has its moments too. I would say the highlighted episodes for the new show would be the first episode where Ataru has to chase Lum during the game of tag, Ataru putting a ribbon on Lum to make her not electrocute him, Ataru getting boxing gloves, the episode where Ron is introduced, and Mendo having a duel on school grounds, and Lum leaving Ataru, causing him to go through this depressed state, are all highlights of the new show. But 9 out of 10 times, I found myself laughing more at the original series. Also, I hate romantic comedies, but the original show barely touches upon that stuff, and they focus their time more on the wacky adventures that the characters would go on. And the reason why I bring this up here is because the new show likes to bring up romance. A lot. Anyways, I haven't really talked about the characters too much. Most of them are the same. Ataru is still lecherous, idiotic, and perverted as ever, which shocked me that they kept that. Well, I'm not going to complain. But they did tone it down a lot, and sometimes they put him in a scenario as if it were an accident. Lum is mostly the same, though a lot more destructive than kind, which is still her character. Shinobu, Ataru's old girlfriend, is the same. Mendo is still a rich snob, and everyone else is the same. But yeah, characters basically stayed the same with minor changes to them. Even some of the secondary characters got some changes. I mean, look at Chibi. In the new show, he looks like a Nintendo Mii. The voice acting in the show is pretty good, with most of the actors giving good portrayals of their characters. Though Ataru doesn't do his funny laugh like he does in the original. Even though they tried. And everyone else sounds good, no complaints, except for Sakura, who sounds nothing like her original actress. Then again, how easy is it to find a woman with a deep voice that sounds like she's been puffing cigars for 20 years? One positive I can give the new show is that I like that Ataru's parents are in the show a lot more. It makes it feel like they can really bond with one another, than having the parents just be forgotten and only Ataru and Lum going to school all the time. Another thing I like about the new show is that sometimes they'll have a post-credits scene that sets up for the next episode. This idea can be used to do stuff like, oh hey, look, get excited, this new character is coming back, or telling older viewers, hey, we're remaking this episode, so please come back and watch us again. This really allows viewers to get really excited to see their favorite episodes being remade. Another thing that interests me is that we went back to 2 11-minute stories, which is strange since only the first season of the original series did that sort of thing. And the reason why was because they originally felt that 2 11-minute episodes would cause less filler to be put in an episode. Which really shows in these new shows, as a lot of scenes get cut just so they can allow more time for additional episodes. I do hope that one day they switch back to the 22-minute episodes, but that is clearly not going to be the case anytime soon. Another complaint I have with the new show is that they're going way too fast. We're already getting characters such as Ten and Rinosuke soon, and if things continue, we're going to be on the final chapter by September. I want this show to stay on the air as long as possible, but hey, at least the show looks good. The animation in the show is amazing, but what is with these word bubbles? They make no sense! I know what's happening and I can see it. It's not JoJo! Funnily enough, the series is actually being animated by the same studio that does JoJo. But Urusei Yatsura and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure are two completely different shows with two drastically different tones of comedy. The original series felt more like The Simpsons, where these characters knew each other so well that they constantly picked on each other's flaws. The new show has that, but it could be a little bit better. Also, this is just nitpick, but do we really have to see a close-up of Tar's lips? Ew. But at the end of the day, even if I thought the remake was okay, I'm still happy that Urusei Yatsura is back on the air. And they're still the same stories as before, so I got a kick out of seeing them again. Though I felt as if the shoe commercial they had to tie into the show felt more like the original series than the remake. Who knows? Maybe they made it so they could sell more merchandise. So, I didn't really hate the new show because the stories of Urusei Yatsura are still funny, even to this day, and though I thought it was okay, I still really recommend it. You can watch it on High Dive right now if you want to, but hey, if you're like me, then go watch the original series. If you want to watch some other anime, I recommend other great animes such as Spy X Family and Gintama. Well, that wraps up everything. My name is Liam. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to do what every other YouTuber tells you to do, and I'll probably never talk about another anime ever again.